What up, y'all? It's your boy, One Sir Grove. Today, we're going to talk about the very first image ever shown to the public of a black hole, of an actual photo taken by space agencies on Earth. So apparently, by the way, thank you for tuning in. If you're a fan of this show, if you support this show, we495 appreciate you. So I'm reading BBC headlines, scanning data. That is scanning data, scanning the spectrum, looking at different news feeds from around the world on multiple different separate devices, computers that is. And one of the news feeds that pops up, boom, BBC News, first ever image of black hole, photo taken, first time ever. And I'm like, yo, that's fresh. Obviously, our global government, I'll say government, has had images of black holes in the past. It's just the first time that humans in mainstream society were allowed to see an image of a black hole, because that's just the way shit works. Government's got to play it like it's the first time ever that it's been done. Those of us who are fucking not stupid, we know it's been done before. So we're supposed to play along like, dude, well, that's so fucking crazy. Black hole, first time ever photographed by humans, dude. We're getting closer, man, to knowing about this shit. It's like, yeah, dude, okay, yeah. But nonetheless, it's cool. It's cool that they're finally admitting that a photo has been taken of a black hole for supposedly the first time ever. I mean, shit, at least now the public knows, and that there is no dispute. It's indisputable. Cannot be disputed. It cannot be refuted. It is, as we say, in that context, irrefutable information that black holes exist. It's no longer gravitational wave distortion field theory. No, dude. Oh yeah, we believe that black holes can they do exist. Currently, they're still theoretical and hypothetical, but we believe that they're there because of the ripple and distortion in space and time that we can sense with gravity wave detectors, and there seems to be some type of gravity wave distortion within the vicinity of this quadrant of space, which leads us to believe and suggest that there could be some type of black hole, some type of void in space that goes into some nether world. It's like, yeah, dude, it's a fucking black hole. So now it's no longer theoretical. Now it's no longer hypothetical. It's just like, boom, it's out there in the fucking open. So now the next shit is how to go through one. If we can take a picture of the shit, okay? If we can fucking see it through a lens, we can get to it at some point. Which, you know, I'm One Sir Grove, and I already know that I know already that we have done that already. But we got to play along like it's not been done yet. So here's my theory, folks. My theory is that if we have the technology, that is the lenses through which we see, observe, peer, sense, and detect, if we can fucking see it with some type of telescopic lens, some type of technology that allows for us to image and sense and detect, thus see and observe, we can send a probe there. Fuck yeah, we can. We can send a goddamn fucking craft there of some type. Now, I've been studying particle physics. That is researching. I'm not just some fucking Wikipedia shit where it's like, let me look up particle physics on Wikipedia. No, dude. No, I've invested in the field. So I'm currently researching and analyzing particle physics. I also enrolled in a course online through Geneva CERN. It's a CERN Geneva course where Geneva, Switzerland, CERN, you can enroll and you can actually take an online course in particle physics. So I did that. My professor, that is instructor, highly knowledgeable, man, extremely knowledgeable. Quite knowledgeable, to say the least. Obviously, he's a particle physicist. But there is a bit of a language barrier. So even when I play the course material at like 1.75 times speed, or 1.5 or 1.25. In other words, 1.25 times, 1.5 times, 1.75 times speed. When it's like CERN particle hadron collider, right? I'm picking up on some of it, but it's like there's a language barrier because his English is different from that of my English. So some of the words, some of the inflections, some of the nuance, it's like I'm like still decoding. But nonetheless, he's a particle physicist at CERN in Geneva, Switzerland, and I enrolled in the course. I might have to take the course a couple of times, man, just to fucking really hunker down on it and get it down pat. But yo, nonetheless, I'm like, yo, man, you know, should I be watching some like Britney Spears videos on YouTube? Or since the internet exists, I could fucking learn about particle physics and actually enroll formally in a course in subatomic particle physics. I'm all about higher education, dude. I'm of the opinion that you don't necessarily have to complete a course. No, dude. No, I was tested for the gifted program when I was a child. And I finished high school, and I've been formally enrolled in multiple degree programs. I'm not a know-it-all, never was. I'm not that personality type. My way of thinking is that you really, in order to understand certain concepts, principles, topics, different ideas, it's really just kind of the thrust of it all. It's like, okay, what's the main idea? What are a few principles associated with that main idea outside of what mainstream society, the public, typically knows? You know, like, okay, like if I were to like be like Jay Leno walking down the street with the microphone, hi, you're a recent graduate of Caltech? My name's Oncer Grove. How you doing today? You mind if hey, what's up, Grove? I'm like, hey, what's up? Recent graduate of MIT or Georgia Tech, Institute of Technology, Virginia Tech or whatever Tech, Rochester Institute of Technology, RIT. Hi, man. Hey, yeah, so you're a recent graduate, and you graduated with what, an advanced degree? Cool. Can I ask you a couple of questions, man, for America? Yeah, sure, Grover. Of course you can. You're funny, man, with the what do you want to know? And then I'm like, yo, how many types of black holes are there? And you're like, oh, shit, damn, Grover. Oh, man, that's a good fucking question. I'm not a black hole physicist, you know? So you talk to physicists, and then physicists, it's like, might be limited in the shit that they know about physics. Because not every physicist is a quantum physicist. Not every physicist is a particle physicist. So it's kind of like you can have a conversation with someone who graduated with a degree in physics from whatever school of physics, and you can be like, yo, so what do you do with your physics? And, oh, you teach high school? Oh, okay. Oh, you teach college? I mean, I had a physics instructor when I was, studying undergraduate, community college, before I transferred to the university. And my community college instructor in physics, he was complaining about having to use a fucking goddamn chalkboard because apparently where he had been before, it was so much fucking better, and they used laser pointers and whiteboards and things like this. And I'm thinking to myself, hey, man, shit is, look, dude, I feel bad for you, man. I mean, if you went from the university as an instructor, professor, PhD, to the community college, and you went from whiteboard laser pointer down to chalkboard, dude, I get it. I mean, that can happen to people, man. Like, and he didn't seem happy, dude. He seemed a bit disenchanted and a bit disgruntled, and I'm just simply saying that I don't know his circumstances. Maybe he got fucking burned by the college university system. Maybe he just walked away. Maybe he took the job thinking that it was going to be something better than it fucking was, and they just duped him and lied to him about the job. The point is this. Not every physicist knows the same that another physicist knows. Not everyone thinks the same. Not everyone knows the same shit. I saw this documentary on YouTube about a month and some weeks ago. And what it was about, was that these, 2 scientists, 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 2 physicists and mathematicians and other scientists, a team of scientists was, that is singular, pun intended, like singularity, Raymond Kurzweil, some of y'all ain't hip to the singularity, fast approaching. So this team of scientists was researching and is, because it's currently researching multiple universes, parallel universes, in line with what CERN is doing. They're using all these different advanced computer modeling programs to try to model phenomena that has not been modeled previously. They're looking at different aspects of the universe in different ways, I guess is what I should say. They are peering into the multiverse using ultra meta advanced technologies and glancing, that is, observing, looking at, analyzing, researching different layers and facets of reality in ways that have never been looked at or done before. So it's unprecedented what they're doing. They're on a new level of research and analysis. Looking at the universe in different new ways is what they're doing. It's very straightforward. And it's straightforward in terms of what their attempt is, what their goal is, but the technology that they're using in mainstream society, it's one of a kind. These software suites, they're custom programs and algorithms that have been developed by this team. That's the key. That's the point. Larger point is that it's not like they're using commercial off-the-shelf technology per se. I mean, they're using programs that you wouldn't find in your average undergraduate university physics program. They're using military-grade software to model the universe, and combined with their own software that they've created. So they're writing these different algorithms to look at the universe in a different way than it's ever been looked at before. And they're searching for parallel universes. So people are on track with this shit, man. This shit is fucking bleeding edge, cutting edge, over the horizon of space, time, leading edge, new world, fucking discovery, new universe discovery shit, man. It's no longer us nerds, geeks, brainiac, fucking intellectuals in high school having to deal with fucking people that are anti-intellectual who are scoffing and mocking us in the classroom saying, you guys are stupid. You guys are crazy and delusional. Parallel universes. You need your medication. You're so stupid. You're fucking silly. Why don't you grow up? Why don't you fucking grow up, dude? Why don't you grow up and realize that you were never a fucking grown-up when, if you were one of those people saying that shit, you were an asshole the whole time and you were never fucking grown. Because people have figured out that what we were saying was and is fucking true and correct. And the shit you were saying, which was that it wasn't, was fucking incorrect. So, we've been vindicated. We've been validated. Humans, us, it's us, our military, our government, science, the defense science community, which consists of civilian scientists working as contractors with the federal government and different agencies. We're working on different ways to travel through black holes, naturally occurring and artificial. Now, if you think that's interesting, because it's no longer a question of whether it's real or true, check this out. I've got some intel for you. A lot of people don't know, University of Maryland, right down the street from here in New York, University of Maryland, because of its proximity to the national security NSA, has a relationship with NSA, the National Security Agency. That's why they have one of the best cybersecurity programs in the nation, given their proximity to the National Security Agency, NSA. University of Maryland, you don't often hear about it so much. You hear about Stanford and Harvard. Sometimes you hear about Yale. And sometimes you hear about the University of Connecticut, where Professor Ronald Millett is working on time travel. Sometimes you'll hear about the University of Washington, where a Dr. Kramer has been equally working on time travel. Whoa, hold on, wait a second. Did Grove just say that university professors are working on real-world applications for real-world time travel? Let's ask Dr. Michio Kaku. He's not on this show. That would be fucking awesome. He probably wouldn't come on my show if I were to use profanity. But if I were to like rebrand myself and be on a different show where it's like there's no profanity and it's totally like PG, he may consider it depending on certain circumstances. Look, man, I'm a huge fan of Dr. Michio Kaku. I am a huge fan. I am a huge fan of Dr. Michio Kaku, as well as Professor Ron Millett. And why not Dr. Kramer? Shit, he's working on fucking time travel too. I'm a fan. Shoot. So look, point is that the university system of academia is involved in time travel research, real-world applications for military defense, intelligence, exploration, reconnaissance of deep interstellar space, multi-dimensions, as well as the private sector. Because it's inevitable that humans, even non-military civilians, will be in space at some time, traveling throughout the cosmos, the stars, and may encounter a black hole, and may have to fucking travel through that shit, and might end up in some other space-time fucking dimension. Whoa! Sounds wacky to some people who aren't hip, who aren't privy, and who don't fucking know that this is now a very, very real thing. So, in that, the University of Maryland, you can go online because you don't often hear about the University of Maryland. That's why I was in that system of colleges and universities. You hear about Stanford, you hear about Harvard, you hear about NYU, you hear about sometimes Cornell and Syracuse, you hear about Princeton, you hear about sometimes the University of Connecticut, sometimes the University of Washington, sometimes the University of Maryland. It's really interesting, man, because the University of Maryland actually created microsingularities. The University of Maryland actually created artificial black holes on planet Earth. Now, those of you who don't know, if you're just casual observers and you're still like, yo, dude, okay, I understand we took the picture of the black hole for the first time. That's in the news. It's scientifically documented. It's a matter of historic record. It's been third party, like, verified. Like, it's a legit thing. Totally understand that. But I don't know if I buy the thing about microsingularities. You don't fucking have to. It's on fucking record and you can Google the shit. Don't fucking believe it if you don't want to. University of Maryland isn't the only university that did it. Australian physicists sent fucking packets of data back in motherfucking time already. Yes, back in fucking time. Quanta. Packets of light information. It was sent through a black motherfucking hole wormhole. It was sent transcontinentally from one continent to another continent and as well back in fucking time by some femto-attoseconds. That's right. Wake up. You say you're woke? Man, best you be really fucking truly woke. We've already sent particles of data back in motherfucking time. Particles consist of information. They have properties. They have attributes. They have behavior. They represent signals. Signals represent information. Information has been sent back in fucking time already. On record, we did that. It's us. Now, University of Maryland created microsingularities, i.e. artificial black holes. Nonetheless, micro motherfucking goddamn singularities in a laboratory. They're not the only university that did it. Brookhaven National Laboratory, it did the same thing. Microsingularities were created. Obviously, dude, when that shit first happened, they said it was a fluke. They said it was an anomaly. They said it was a mistake. They redacted the shit. They retracted their statement. They rescinded that information. They're like, and they backpedaled and they backdialed. And they're like, but it was a mistake and we fucked up and it's not really what happened. Bullshit. They tried to cover the shit up. I knew that it was for real when it happened. These other universities subsequently, they just openly admitted that they did it. They're like, yeah, we created a microsingularity for the first time. So, in a laboratory setting, in laboratory settings, in controlled spaces and environments, we as humans are now able to create microsingularities on planet Earth. Are these black holes that can engulf the entire planet? Hey man, shit. You thought I was going to say no, like these other scientists have said? Oh, well, no, the chances of that happening are like 1 in like for never ever. Can't happen. Dude, hey, I would say to you, I would concede, my contention is, thus I will assert, anything is possible in the realm of science. I would not rule out the possibility of anything ever in science. You gotta be on the lookout for motherfuckers who say in written and verbal communications that shit is impossible. Anybody, look, two things. They say, yeah, and I just want to tell you, like, I'm a writer and a journalist for, like, this, like, publication that, like, a lot of people, like, read because we're so fucking cool, right? And since people, like, look to us as, like, an authoritative, like, body, like, because we know our stuff, right? So, like, you know, so this is what's going on. They're working on this thing, and it's, like, so advanced, but, you know, but we still haven't had contact with aliens, though. It's like, really? Really, you know that? You know that we haven't had contact with aliens because you're a writer for a publication and you don't have a security clearance? And even if you have, like, they didn't let you in on it, dude? We have had contact with aliens. We're not searching for fucking aliens, dude. We are no longer searching for aliens, dude. We never were, motherfucker. Thought you were woke. Guess you ain't, though. So, anyway, gotta be careful, man, when you're reading and analyzing, researching information for people who say, because in their minds they've deluded themselves into this way of thinking because they're societally programmed to believe certain shit. They say to themselves and to their audience and to the public that we haven't done something yet. Anytime someone says we haven't achieved something or we haven't done something yet, they have no fucking clue because we already did a long time ago. The other thing is, man, someone will say that some shit is impossible. But the point is that outside of this or aside from this or other than that milestone that we, you know, this is still theoretically impossible and it's untested. Man, nothing is impossible in the realm of science, super science, and the multiverse. Everything to the contrary actually is possible. Everything is possible. Let me say it thrice. Everything conceivable is possible in the multiverse. And truth is stranger than Truth is stranger than any conceivable work of human fiction. And that is a fucking fact. So, Brookhaven National Laboratory, University of Maryland, Australian physicists, CERN, Geneva, Switzerland, European Space Agency, NASA, DARPA, IARPA, White Sands Missile Base, Wright-Patterson. I mean, come on, dude. There's not just Area 51. Area 51 is one designated area of many areas. It's the 51st of others. There's an Area 50, 49, 48, 47. There's an Area 52, 53, 54. It's not just one fucking place where this research has been conducted, carried out, and is taking place. No, man. No. So, you know, it's interesting, people who don't really understand science. And they want to argue about the Bermuda Triangle and say, oh, well, I heard one source and it said that there haven't really been too many like planes and like aerial vehicles and aircraft that have like in ships and seagoing vessels and what have you. There haven't been too many that have like disappeared there. It's like it's more of a meteorological thing. It's like more of a climate thing. It's more of like an ecosystem thing. It has to do with like the ecology of it all and like the water and the swamp gas and the atmosphere and the like humidity and like the oceans and like the waves and things like this. It's like it has to do with like maritime climate. It has to do with maritime climate, and the source was saying that it's some type of phenomenon of like swamp gas. I'm like, dude, are you fucking serious? You're a blithering fucking moron, idiot, imbecile. You actually believe that shit, dude? You really believe the government's story that the official story that it's swamp gas that causes these different instrument panels of aircraft to go haywire? Instead of it pointing north, it points south, right? And all of the bearings and everything are lost, and it's just like starts spinning in all kinds of different directions, like kind of like pseudo-randomly or randomly. It's like, that's totally swamp gas. That's some like electromagnetic phenomenon, dude, is what it actually motherfucking is. The Bermuda Triangle is a naturally, if not artificially occurring portal to another fucking quadrant of space-time, dude, is exactly what the fuck it is. If you look at solid matter, if you consider, that is, contemplate the following. Knock on wood. Knock on a solid structure, construct. Knock on something solid. Tap it, touch it, tactile, feeling, sensory, perception tells you that it's solid, right? Surface, hard. Surface, intact, right? Tactile, feelings, goes to brain, sense, perception, stream of human consciousness. I believe this is a solid surface and totally fucking solid. If you look at that same supposedly solid surface with an electron tunneling microscope, you will realize that it is actually quite porous and that it consists mostly of porous construct. So it's a lattice matrix that is porous. It has holes in it, dude. But because of your human bodies, your body's, that is, magnetic energy field, the field that emanates and that permeates and surrounds your human body, when you touch, therefore come into contact with hard, seemingly solid surface construct, data, yeah, you're led to believe that it's solid. It is solid in the context of the perception that you have, but again, it's not entirely really truly solid. It has a bunch of holes in it. And we have materials that we can weave through and into those holes. We can punch through those holes with certain material science. So it's not really fucking solid. Just like you can take a laser and you can cut through goddamn fucking solid objects. You can use a laser to cut. You can use a cutting laser to cut through shit that you perceive and believe to be, quote, solid. So, given that reality and understanding that, again, you have these people who they do not understand that what they were led to believe in basic science class and even at the college university levels in terms of physics and chemistry and math and science and mechanical and other types of engineering. Shit that they were led to believe isn't necessarily fucking true at all. So yo, check it out. Do you remember some years back, there was a scientist who she had claimed that it was her belief that it is impossible for black holes to exist? Do you remember that? Hey, look, man, science is interesting. People can change their stories just like any field, any theory. That's why people receive PhDs, because when you have a PhD, you're a doctor of philosophy. It's all philosophical and theoretical. So what you're degreed and conferred in, you're conferred and degreed in the realm, arena of field of your thought process, that what you believe at the time is what your colleagues, your luminaries, your peers, they say, yeah, that sounds to be generally acceptable among us. And that seems pretty factually based on what we know and understand to be true at this time in time-space. So you're a doctor of philosophy because you're philosophical, because you philosophize, and what you've led yourself to believe to be true might not necessarily be true. So it's okay. It's okay in the world of trial and error to believe something and then to go back and say, you know what? I was fucking wrong. Just like Darwin. Darwin was a fraud. He stretched the truth. He knew it was fake. He knew it was bogus. He knew it was made up. And he knew that to this day in the future, there would be idiots that would believe that what he postulated, what he hypothesized, what he theorized, what he posited, he knew that there would be those who didn't do their research and didn't read all the notes and side notes and end notes and all the different notation. Yeah, he knew that they would just take it at face value and be like, Darwin said that we come from fish and monkeys. It's gotta be true, dude. He fucking said it. He knew it. It's like, yeah, but dude, he also lied about it too. So, you got those people driving around with little Darwinism, little Darwin fish and shit, showing the evolution of humans who leapt from fish, amphibians, and chimps, monkeys, baboons to humans, just like presto, chango, alakazam, voila, you're now a fucking human, upright, standing, Homo sapien, yeah, you come from monkey and fishes. Darwin said so. He proved it academically in a scholarly sense. Yeah, he actually didn't, dude. Not at fucking all. Not even fucking close. Read the book, Darwin Under a Microscope. Darwin, let me look it up. Is it Darwinism Under a Microscope? Let me cite this properly. I read it 20 fucking something years ago. Darwin under Darwin was a sucker under Darwinism. Okay, Under the Microscope. Darwinism Under the Microscope, book by James Gills and Tom Woodward. Again, Darwinism Under the Microscope, how recent scientific evidence points to divine design. Book by James Gills and Tom Woodward. After this book was released, you had people that were like, those people are intelligent design theorists. They go against my religion. They're discounting God and they're saying that the universe is a computer system. That goes against my religious faith and belief. It's like, wow, dude, why don't you read the fucking book? That's not what it says, motherfucker. It was originally published in 2002. It doesn't negate, it doesn't discount, it doesn't say that God doesn't fucking exist. It says that there's a master architect, God designer, that created the multiverse, that created beings, that have the ability to create other beings, and that the fucking real world matrix is based on some math supersymmetry, some type of supersymmetric math motherfucking matics. That's what it says. And that this is a real world matrix lattice type construct, motherfucker, is what it says. Fucking read up on the shit, man. Do better research. It doesn't discount God. And it doesn't have anything to do with Nephilim. It doesn't have anything to do with goddamn fucking fairies or elves. Well, it does, because those things are probably real, because they're probably genetic permutations and fucking weird alterations that were created by gene manipulation. They probably exist. Probably somewhere in Agartha, like under the earth. You know? Weird shit like mermaids and, I don't know, whatever. What are those things called? I don't know, man, leprechauns or something. And you think I'm joking, but I'm not, because there are actually stories that relate to Europe in terms of real world X-Files, where these pods came down, these like, look like steel, like spherical, like pods, and they had these little people in them, and they looked like gnomes. They were like little troll people, and it wasn't an isolated event, dude. This is in the encyclopedia of real world X-Files shit. So, in the compendium of paranormal real-world activity, people in Europe, like hundreds of people, saw at different locations throughout Europe these fucking, these spheres that came down, these little crafts and shit, and they, like, descended to Earth, and these little gnome troll things were, like, looking out these little hatches and actually, like, touched ground and got out and were walking around and, like, talking in some type of language that was unknown. And it was just like kind of gibberish, like some shit like that. It was fucking weird. But, yeah, so, you know, genetic modification of different humanoid, hominid, homo sapiens. Yeah. So, intelligent design theory does not discount God. Yeah, man, you're always going to have some idiot out there that believes that all this shit is random, and that person's going to claim that I'm an intelligent design theorist, and I am saying to you, the universe is a computer and there is no God. It's like, you're going to have an asshole like that. It's like, yeah, dude, there might be one universe that is like AI control operated, but that doesn't mean that there wasn't something that created that, right? No, the universe created itself, and it is a computer, and there is no God. You'll have some motherfucker like that just thinks that, like, computers can, like, even supercomputers that are, like, the size of, like, galaxies can just, like, randomly materialize, and that the computer is God. And it's like, well, so it came to be a computer out of nothing? Yes, there is no God. I'm an atheist. Therefore, I believe in the intelligent design theory. It's like, wow, dude, okay, weird, but, you know, to each his or own, dude. You might be on to something there, buddy. So, yo, man, fuck with this. Check this out. So, then you got these other people that will say, oh, yeah, the black hole phenomenon. Like, its gravitational pull is so intense that nothing, almost virtually nothing, can escape the clutches and the grasp of a black hole and its gravitational field warp distortion. It's like, yeah, that's not even true either, dude. Where'd you get that information? Space is cold, right? Space is so fucking cold, right? It is so cold in space. But hold up! Then there are scientists who will say, but to the contrary, space isn't exactly cold. No, you see, space is what we call a vacuum. We refer to space as a vacuum. Is a vacuum cold? Or is it just a vacuum? Or is it both? It's like, I don't know, dude. You're a scientist, man. I study science. I went to college, attended thus fucking college, university for science research. I entered formally into a degree program for science with a mathematics emphasis. You fucking tell me, pal. What do you remember from science? I remember being told that space was cold. Yeah, space has always been a vacuum, too, I guess, supposedly. And now there's someone who has some theory that space isn't really cold, it's just a vacuum. Kind of like when you look at particles and their spin. And what we were told was an atom with an electron and a proton and a neutron and a nucleus and these electrons that spin around in an orbit around the atom because it's part of the atom, and that's what atoms look like. Let's take a look at this, man. What is this, the Dalton model? Let me see. Hold up. Wait a minute. Hold up. D-A-L-T-O-N. Dalton model of a motherfucking atom. Dalton model of a fucking atom. I want Sir Grove. Let's see. Brilliant wiki. Quote, Dalton's model of an atom. Based on all his observations, Dalton proposed his model of an atom. It is often referred to as the billiard ball model. He defined an atom to be a ball-like structure, as the concepts of atomic nucleus and electrons were unknown at the time. Well, okay, period, end quote. Well, I am hearing in the world of science that shit isn't true either. No, sure is not. Not really, kind of sort of is, but kind of sort of isn't at the same time. So let's talk about duality. Let's talk about wave particle motherfucking ality. Wave particle duality. When you look at a packet of photonic information, when you look at a particle, when you look at a photon, an alpha particle, when you look at subatomic particles, and they're supposedly spinning, and they're moving about, and they move out in 360 degrees, and they're like, transiting the cosmos, all over the place, right? When electrons like supposedly like circulating, right? Spinning, okay, the ratio, the distance in relation to the nucleus of the atom, the shit is insanity, dude. It's fucking insane. It's an insane distance. And the different weights, okay, the different measurements, the metrics of it all, it just didn't add up, not really. So what science says now is that is it a particle, or is it a wave, or is it both? Is it a particle? Is it like a little dot? Is it a pixel? Is it a data dot construct, or is it like a wave? What does it look like? Does it look like a little spherical little ball? Does it look like a little pink, like a little pink, like a little, tick, like a little sphere, like a little steely? Does it look like a little globe? Does it spin around spherically? Or is it some type of energy form that's like a wave, like a sine wave? Huh? Is it a crest? Is it a trough? Does it plateau? Does it crescendo? What the fuck does it do, though? Right? So some scientists are like, it's both. It can be both. It's wave particle duality. It can do both things. It could be a dot, tick, ping, tick, right? Or it could be like a woo, 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 woo. It could be both. It's like, that's weird. So that shit's been changing, man. The story of what atoms really are. Because, dude, in science class, in high school, junior high school, elementary school, I'm pretty sure you were led to believe that atoms are some shit that they really isn't, though. That they really ain't. So you get these people, man, if you were to poll them and go out on the streets and be like, yo, so what is an atom? And they're like, well, let me tell you what an atom is. I studied science in college back in the year 2015, and I know precisely what it is. You have a nucleus, which contains the following, and it's like, oh, okay, right. Is it a wave? And they're like, excuse me? And they're like, yeah, but is it a wave, though? And they're like, no, I'm sorry. You asked me about an atom, which is a round sphere, and it spins like this, okay? The electrons do in the cloud of the atom. And it's like, oh, okay, interesting. So is it also a wave? Excuse me, sir, I don't know. You're confusing me. Like, what are you talking about a wave? I'm talking about an atom. You asked me about an atom. So you have some motherfuckers, man, who just don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Do any of us know what we're talking about? Because shit obviously, dude, keeps changing. It's like it's one thing 1 year, and then a few years down the road, it's a totally different yellow brick road. It's like there was one yellow brick road, but now it's a different yellow brick road. We're all a little crazy down here. Follow the little white rabbit down that hole now. See what it leads to. Infinite other rabbit holes. Which is absolutely true, and we've decoded that as well. Because apparently, the universe, which we were told was static in terms of time, and it's like static field, like it cannot be altered, cannot be changed. Dude, apparently it is malleable. Science has decoded that it is malleable, and here's why. You have a past. Unchangeable, right? Like static, like that's the past. It's a frame of reference. It's there. Can't be altered because you've got some scientists who are like, I'm a scientist, and here's what I'll tell you. It's no longer fringe to talk about time travel. The ancients seem to have known something. They evidently, based on, that is evidence, came through some type of wormhole to this galaxy, this Earth universe of ours, and they obviously traversed space-time to arrive here at their point of origin. So therefore, it's no longer something that I cannot talk about among my colleagues. It is no longer fringe. We are definitely, most certainly, within academia, discussing, talking about, researching, analyzing time travel and its very real implications and applications and ramifications, what have you. But I will say this. Time travel is only possible in a forward direction into the future, and it cannot be... Man, you don't fucking know you cannot travel backward in time, dude. Okay? People get stuck on shit, man. So you have these fucking so-called scientists because they're supposed to be open-minded. And they're saying now they have some stupid-ass belief that you can only travel one direction in time. Why would you be able to only travel one fucking direction in time? That doesn't even make any fucking sense, idiot. Moron. It's like, come on, dude. Really? Motherfuckers make shit up. Time travels in all directions, fool. There's motherfucking water molecules on every motherfucking rock, dude. On the moon, you're gonna find some type of fucking water molecule somewhere. Some type of chain. Some type of shit that is water, okay? Every motherfucking planet. There is not a planet where there is not some type of microorganism, fool. It doesn't make fucking sense for there to be a rock in space where there are no microorganisms present. That doesn't make any fucking sense. For there to be a rock in space where there are no microorganisms. There is life on every single motherfucking rock in space, dude. So, in that, time travel is totally fucking possible in both, therefore all, spherical directions. 360 motherfucking spheroid disease. I said disease. Directions. Humans are like a disease. We're like a parasite, and we distribute ourselves out into the cosmos multitudinously as these parasitic organisms that wreak havoc. I said wreak havoc. What the fuck am I talking about? Wreak havoc and chaos wherever we go. We are vermilion and fucking pestilence and disease. We're human beings. No, but in all directions is what I meant, man. Time travels in all fucking directions. It really truly does. The era of time is not just a line like a ray with like an arrowhead like at the top. Dude, there's an arrow at both ends of that line. That ray is not just a unidirectional thing. It goes in all directions, dude, and that should have been obvious to any fucking buddy throughout time. Time travel into the past, backward, is also possible. And I'll explain why. So, do you remember the elusive Higgs boson that people were searching for? They were like, it's theoretical, and we believe that it exists, but we're not certain. And I mean, it could be that we're wrong. It could be that we're not right about this. It could be that we're incorrect and we are inaccurate in our assessment of the situation, our belief. our conjecture. Yeah, so the Higgs boson was found, and the same is true of the tachyon. The tachyon, previously thought to be theoretical in nature, hypothetical, some superluminal particle phenomenon. That shit is real too. 100% real, dude. So tachyon is capable of traveling backward in time. And the speed of light, there is no speed of light barrier per se, because there are celestial phenomena, subspace particles that are capable, therefore, of traveling thousands of times the speed of light, many times the speed of light, hundreds of thousands of times the speed of light. You were lied to about the speed of light. Speed of light ain't shit, though. Really, it ain't. I mean, it's something, but it ain't really shit. In juxtaposition to particles such as the tachyon. So, data packets, that is information, can travel backward in time. Definitely, dude. Certainly, 100% certainty. When you have a universe that is supposedly static, when you send a packet of information, data, that is backward in time to that universe that was static, you just altered that universe because you added something to it that's from a forward time. So you added to that static picture frame, frozen frame, supposedly frozen, and you altered it. It's malleable. Because now that you've introduced new data to that universe, you've shifted, thus altered that universal time frame that is supposedly static. When you look at it through one lens, it appears to be static, but it's like a solid surface. If you look at it through on a different layer, it's actually moving, just like a black hole. So micro gradually that it appears to be non-moving, but it actually is. And you're adding data to it. You added data to the frame. So the frame of it has changed on a Planck scale, on a micron level, essentially less than a micron, smaller, like then it's a tick, it's a pixel, it's a fractal, it's one just tick, and you just changed it because you added information, you added one fucking atom from another time space universe plane, you added to that time and you altered that time. So that universe has now been changed by one atom. So you've traveled backward in time. That data object has. The data object has traveled backward in time. So for scientists to say that time travel backward is impossible, maybe they're living on a different timeline and they missed the fucking news alert update in the world of science, academia, on scholarly record in journals. We have already sent packets of data backward in fucking goddamn time, dude. So time travel into the past is totally possible and has been done by way of information. We've already sent information back in motherfucking time. One hand doesn't always know what the other hand does in the world of quantum entanglement. So, on the subject of black holes, ask some scientists, they'll tell you, according to their belief system, their current school of thought, there are three, that's 1, 2, 3, basic types or three types altogether of black holes primarily. And they believe that. Albeit, if you look beyond that, you'll find evidence that there are actually other types of black holes. Let's look at the Kerr-Newman black hole. The Kerr-Newman black hole is said to be traversable. When you look at a rotating black hole, a dual rotating black hole, think about Ronald Millet's circular laser, rotating circular laser beam. Rotating circular laser beam. Do you get it? Ronald Millet, Professor Ronald Millet's idea for there to be a rotating, thus circular rotating laser beam. Because as he says with his analogy, if you have a cup of coffee and you have a coffee bean in the cup, when you first observe it, it looks like one thing is happening. Then you realize that you could use a laser to kind of sort of stir space. Space is malleable. This is also what Bob Lazar has talked about. When you see the movies and you look at science fiction, what is supposed to be science fiction, and you look at the warp field where it's like, oh, there is a wormhole, let's travel through the wormhole. What's really happening is in the real world of time travel is you're bringing space to you. You're bringing a distant time to you. It's not like you're actually necessarily traveling through, like forward into space per se. You're actually grabbing a tick of space out in space-time and pulling it to you. You're bringing point A and point B together where it's an overlapping point, which is that point, a non-point, which is just space-time. There is no distance at that point. It's zero. And now you're there. You see? Because space is malleable. It's not like, whoa, there's a hole way down there, and we're going to take our craft, and at warp speed, we're going to fly through it. That's not what's really actually happening. It is, but it isn't. You're actually sending out energy fields to a distant point and then pulling malleable space to you, and then you become it and then are there with it, is how it is actually working. So that is not a theory. That is actual science. When we come back and reconvene, we are going to talk about, that is, discuss Kerr-Newman traversable black holes and the technology related to such.